Hello and welcome to today's video. Today I'm looking at two pens from an Australian pen maker. I'm going to focus the review on one of them, but I'm going to show two pens that I've got as they are very different pens. They are made by that pen bloke. You could look up on Instagram and things like that. That pen bloke is Stephen Everson from New South Wales in Australia. Makes really lovely custom pens using really interesting materials and combinations of materials and all of that kind of stuff. There's also great customer service. He really cares about the product and it being a sort of a one-of-a-kind experience for the buyer as well. So Stephen has sent me two pens on loan for this review. I'm going to cover them and then I'm going to do like a proper full review of one of those. So if we open up the case here, as I should say, the case is labeled with that pen bloke logo on there, which I think is really cool. It's nice sort of personalized stuff. And then we get the pens come in these like little pen hoodies, which are hand sewn and made by them over there at the pen bloke. And you can see also their little logo there on the little patch on the hoodie. And then we open it up, and this is the first pen I'm going to be looking at. This is the from the Sophisticated series. This is made from a Southern Lights blank, which is beautiful, like this sort of like greens and blues and sort of shimmer and chatoyance and all that kind of stuff. Really lovely black ends and metal rings and things. So I'm going to be looking at this one very briefly. Acrylic section, number 6 Yovo nib, and this one is a medium, as you can see there on the side. Plastic feed, cartridge converter, standard international cartridge converter, all of that kind of stuff. This is a really beautiful pen. It's a large pen here alongside Alamy Safari. You can see it is a large pen. But it's a lovely pen. It's very comfortable in the hand. It'll step down onto some nice smooth threads, but a big, generous, long section and a big pen in the hand. I really enjoy this pen. I really enjoy how it writes. I really enjoy the feel of it in my hand. It's a lovely weight, and it's a beautiful resin pen. So that was the Sophisticated series using the Southern Lights blank. And then the main pen we're focusing on today is this one. So we open it up, and another little pen hoodie, the logo once again on there, and then open it up, and this is it's a segmented style, and this is a Australian tea tree segmented with a grass green resin. This is really interesting. The process of making these pens is quite labor intensive in a lot of ways. There's lots that actually goes into it. Obviously, the turning of the pen and the design and all those kinds of things. But even getting the material ready, having to cross-cut different materials at the exact right angles and get everything lined up and then turn it out of that. It's really wonderful, the work he does. Once again, step down onto some smooth threads and a lovely long section there. It's good. It's a good size. It's comfortable and a very nice pen in the hand. So as I said, I'm focusing today's review on this particular model. I think it's probably, for me, it's the most interesting of the two. I think it's really beautiful. And so we're going to talk about parts and features, all that kind of stuff. I'll do a writing sample with both and then give it a little bit of information. Okay, so top of the pen. This is a flat top and then it's lovely rounded, smoothed corner down onto the barrel, which tapers ever so slightly by the looks of it. And then a nice sort of step down onto the barrel. It's once again nice and smooth. The barrel continues along, rounded corners and a beautiful flat end there. We have these segmented, cut at an angle sections of the green grass resin, which creates really interesting look on every, look at it that way. It's just horizontal diagonal lines, and you get some lovely loops of it when you look at it on the sides. It's really beautiful, and it's segmented against this lighter timber. It's really nice. Before you unscrew the section, there is a little band of the resin there, which you unscrew, and that reveals, as I said, the threads and the section. The section shows a real depth of this material. So it's not picking it up, but there is like a chatoyance and sort of shimmer to this material. And it's almost got like a wood grain sort of style pattern in it. It's beautiful. It's a really, I think that's a lovely section, and I think, once again, juxtaposed between the lighter timber and that bright, vibrant resin in the material of the pen. Those dark sections of the section resin are just absolutely beautiful. This has a number 6 steel nib with a fine Yovo and a plastic feed. It is cartridge converter, and it comes with a converter. I'm almost out of ink in this one, so I've wound it down. The acrylic runs into the barrel, and so you get acrylic threads on resin threads on resin. So it's plastic on plastic, so it's going to last. And it's all round, it's just a beautiful, well-made pen. The cap unscrews in about 2 turns, and that's really, really lovely. The threads are really smooth, and the polish finish on this pen is remarkable. It does make photographing and filming these pens actually tricky because it is just so shiny, and it highlights the beautiful qualities in that timber as well, the grain and the light and shade of that. It's a remarkably well-made, beautifully crafted pen. First, I'll show a quick size comparison between these two pens. They're a pretty similar kind of length. I think the segmented pen there is just a little bit wider, but they are beautifully, proportioned pens, big, generous pens. And now for the standard size comparison, I've got a Lamy Safari here just to show, and then another large pen, which is the Leonardo Momento Zero Grande Pura pen. So I've got that alongside it just to show that this is quite a large pen. Uncapped, you see it's still a pretty big pen. It's longer there than the Leonardo, and it's much longer than the Safari, and of course with its number 6 size nib, it makes it a really lovely size pen in the hand. The segmented pen from that pen Bloke doesn't post, so you can see that posted, of course, these pens sort of end up bigger, but I think this pen is definitely going to be big enough for just about anyone to use unposted. It's got great length there. The weight is good. It's fairly light, particularly for its size, and it's got a good sort of width section. So it's very, very comfortable. So what are the dimensions? Well, we're talking uncapped. It's 158 millimeters. So it's as big as some pens are capped. It's a good size, and it's 143 when it is uncapped, which is like this longer actually by a couple of millimeters than a Lamy Safari capped. So I don't think there's going to be any complaints with the size of this pen. It's a really lovely size. The section in the middle there is about 11 millimeters. So it's actually quite a substantial section, but because you've got a lot of girth back here, it does feel a little bit sort of more narrow in your fingers, but not uncomfortably so. The pen weighs 32 grams in total, and 19 of that is in the body. So when you're writing, you've got a 19-gram pen, which is, I think, a very comfortable weight. And I've never had any fatigue with this. I've never had any feelings of the balance or anything, and it writes very nicely. So it's a pretty solid pen. So I'll do a writing sample now. This is from that pen Bloke, and this is a call this a segmented Australian tea tree with it's grass grain. I've written green grass resin. It has a number 6 Yovo steel nib, and this is a fine. The ink in this is Waterman Serenity Blue. Okay, so first things first, it writes very, very well. When you buy a pen like this isn't a kit pen at all. This is all like, all the section and the barrel and all of it is all made by Stephen. But you are getting a Yovo nib and feed, and a good converter. So all the guts of the pen, sort of should line up fairly well. You should get a smooth flow of ink, a smooth nib, all of that, and the nibs are sort of well maintained and chosen and everything by Stephen. And this one is quite wet. It's got a lovely flow. I would say this is a slightly broader medium, or broader fine, sorry. It's certainly, a very European fine nib. Quick writing. No issue there whatsoever. As I said, wetness is good. Reverse writing, very fine, but quite smooth. Would probably starts to dry out towards the end there. Not a flex nib. You could probably gently get a little bit of line variation out of it, but that's not what this pen is about. But as I said, Yovo nib and feed, good converter, all of that. You'd expect it to write. And just for the sake of the exercise, here is the pen from the Sophisticated series. We'll just do a quick writing sample with that. And so this is the Southern Lights resin, or blank. This is a number 6 Yovo steel medium nib, and you can see the difference between the medium and the fine. And it's once again, this is a very wet nib. Same ink, Waterman Serenity Blue. And this is a gorgeous writer. It's insanely smooth. One of the smoothest nibs I've used in quite a while. Reminds me a lot of like the nibs, how they come on a Diplomat pen, although slightly broader. I'd say this is quite a broad medium. I really enjoy that. And I enjoy the feeling of actually writing with this pen in the hand. As I said, it's a nice weight and nice size. So this was the writing sample from the 2 pens I've got here from that pen Bloke. So let's now talk the business. We'll start here with the Sophisticated series. What does this pen cost? Well, it's not an inexpensive pen. This series ranges from $220 to about $250, and you can contact Stephen at that pen Bloke to talk about that. And materials and all that kind of stuff. They're all one of a kind, so they're all hand turned and all that kind of stuff, and using, every blank will be slightly different depending on how it's mixed and the colors used and all those kinds of things. So you are getting a really unique pen from a pen maker who really knows what they're doing and does amazing stuff. And then here with the segmented pen, the Australian tea tree segmented with grass green resin, this one retails from 360 to 400 Australian dollars. Now, it's more expensive because there's a lot more goes into the making of this pen. So it depends on the things like the materials used, of course, and also the intricacy of the segmenting and all of that kind of stuff. He does some amazing things with amazing different materials, and including things like coffee beans and all those kinds of things in the resins. So they are unique pens that do kind of, really unique, interesting things. So what are the pros and cons? Well, I'm not really going to pick cons. Every pen is going to be different. Every pen is going to feel slightly different depending on the weight and the size and the material and all of those kinds of things. So it's going to be personal to you. I love both these pens. I think they write beautifully. I think they feel great in the hand. They're very clearly very well made. And that's actually my first big pro on these, is the build quality and the workmanship is unbelievable. It's so smooth and glossy, and all the fine details are absolutely spot on. It's amazing. I also love the size. Like that, the size of that pen in my hand is just awesome. So I really enjoy that. I like the unique designs and things like the cool materials and the combinations of materials like resins with wood and things like that, but done in a really interesting way here. It's really beautifully done. I love the fact that these are one of a kind. Like you can talk about the different materials, you can talk about the size, all those kinds of things, and it's all kind of details that you can work out, and every pen is going to be different. So you're not buying a mass-produced pen, which is also why the price is so high. These are artworks. He's an artisan. He does amazing work. He's making these by hand. You are buying a work of art here the same way as you'd buy a beautiful piece of jewelry. This is what you're buying. And then lastly, amazing customer service. If there's issues with the pen, he'll address them. If you damage the pen yourself, obviously at a cost, he can do the repairs and look after it He's really keen on making sure you have a great experience and a beautiful experience of using and owning his pens. And so that's really special. So this was 2 beautiful pens from that pen bloke. Thank you for watching. I hope you found this video interesting. Please like and subscribe, hit the notifications button and all of those kinds of things. If you've got products you think I should be looking at, or if there's a way you would like to support the channel, I would love to hear from you. It's your support that makes this channel possible. A big thank you to Stephen for sending these over for the review today. I've really enjoyed using them and reviewing them, and I'll be sending them back. They're on loan, but I can definitely see myself owning pens from Stephen in the very near future. These are beautiful. So thank you for watching. Enjoy your pens, enjoy writing, and I'll talk to you soon.